Hello and welcome back to the Yard Red Festival here on HeflaTV 1. I'm going to be one of your casters. I'm Granda's Feet. I'm going to be joined by Mike Lors for his game number 3 between Moscow 5 and Power Rangers, as the first two games were 1-1. What are your thoughts on the first couple of games of the series? Whoa, not exactly sure.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah,
here we
we're all
go.
good now.
Okay. I think Power Rangers have to back off and not just slam pick the Spectre. It's not exactly the most secure hero. They have to kind of really build the right scenario for her. Moscow 5, if they keep playing aggressively as they did in the last game, then they're going to be just fine. But really, the aggression that Moscow 5 had in the second game is what they wanted in the first game. And if they get it in the third, then they should be looking to take this one too.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. They're going to start the draft the same way that they did in game number 2, the first pick Skyrath Mage. I'm not sure if we're going to see Alina this game, and honestly, I'm not sure it had the largest of impacts in game number 2, but it still offered them a decent amount of control, and just the aggressive potential coming out from that hero was enough to stop the Spectre from farming. At the end of the game, Spectre had almost nothing. Phase earned Radiance as well as Blade Mail. Was about the sum of all of Spectre's items. She was forced to buy back several times, and if she didn't, to be fair, they would have completely lost a lot of those team fights. But even so, a Spectre with no items is not a very scary Spectre. Power Rangers, again, gonna start things off with the Shadow Demon and Puck after the first pick Skyrath Mage, feeling that they're confident enough to go up into this Moscow 5 lineup again.
This is exactly what happened in game number 2, and Power Rangers did not win this, so they're gonna have to make something else happen, as this is exactly what happened in game number 2, right?
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah, Moscow 5, I'm sure, going to pick up yet another Lena, and Power Rangers are going to lose this because they're going to drop the exact same heroes. I think getting a hero to combo with the Shadow Demon is just going to be so much more important. Even though the Ancient Apparition did get a lot of farm in the last game, he wasn't very relevant for much of it. So getting someone who could actually use the Disruption is going to be important for Power Rangers, and they should be looking to snag one of those heroes up.
Yeah, this draft is progressing incredibly fast as it's looking almost identical to what we saw in game number 2. We're on a band up by Moscow 5, taking away one of those heroes that combos very well with the Shadow Demon. Still left in the pool, however, you do have the Kunkka, which is one of my favorites to watch with the Shadow Demon. Lena or Leshrac if they're feeling a little bit spicy, but anybody that could benefit from that Shadow Demon setup would be wonderful for them. They just need a way to go aggressive, or at least counteract the aggression coming out from Moscow 5. If they really want to play things safe, maybe go for the likes of an Earthshaker. Although it doesn't benefit that much from the Shadow Demon Disruption setup, they'd be able to keep somebody safe, and maybe they can pick up a mid laner like the Kunkka that would benefit from the Shadow Demon Disruption as well.
Yeah, I'm hoping for someone, anyone really, to benefit with the Shadow Demon. Like, hell, even a Jakiro is going to be a decent enough hero for that. Wraith King, not exactly the hero I had in mind, as he's usually the one doing the setting up, but it is a nice hero to have nonetheless. If you are going to be running very few melee heroes, then I would like, it's good that the Wraith King is going to be one of those heroes. No real hard counter from Moscow 5 just yet, so Wraith King, whether it's being played as a support or a core, I think right now I like him a little bit more as a core, but really that's just because support Wraith King doesn't benefit much from Shadow Demon, and that's what we have been talking about for the past couple of minutes. So Moscow 5, they now know that they're up against Wraith King and Puck, so Silences and Mana Burn is going to be fantastic. Silencer maybe is what they want to go for, maybe even go for a Nyx would be a fantastic pickup, but they need to heavily prioritize CC. Ogre Magi, Skyrath Mage, they're fantastic ways to start, but maybe they need a little bit more.
Yeah, right now, I'd love to see the next assassin for Moscow 5. Right now, their lane is going to be a little bit weaker since Moscow 5 are on the dire side, although with the lane equilibrium in 6.82, that is mitigated a little bit. But maybe they're shying away from the aggressive trialing that we saw in game number 2. Let's see, Moscow 5 taking their time with this next pickup. It could honestly be anything, but it's going to be Nature's Prophet. Not offering CC until he picks up the items like the Orchid or the Scythe of Vice. Still going to be a solid offlaner that we haven't seen at all throughout the series.
Yeah, and it's going to be a solid enough hero no matter what, really. Power Rangers, they do have a couple of ways of messing with the Nature's Prophet. They have a good amount of AoE clearing with the Puck. Shadow Poison to a very lesser degree, but Nature's Prophet Split Push I don't think is going to have the best of times, seeing as though Puck and Wraith King, both heroes that typically do pick up Blink Daggers, are going to be on the field, and Nature's Prophet really doesn't like that. Regardless, if Moscow 5 do want to just stay the course and play the aggressive way that they've been playing for the past couple of games, or last game and they tried to do first game, the Nature's Prophet is going to be a great hero. If he goes for the Null Talisman build, if he teleports very aggressively along with the Ogre Magi Scarith Mage, he can get some serious hurt onto the Power Rangers team.
Yeah, definitely, especially on the Shadow Demon. If he gets cut out by a Fire Blast, you have a Scarlet Mage Silence to follow up, or vice versa, and the Nature's Prophet TV and Shadow Demon instead, unless he has other people to back him up. And even if he does, I'm not sure exactly how much help a Wraith King +1 is going to be for these supports, Power Rangers. Currently, it's Power Rangers' turn to pick up a hero, and it's going to be the Legion Commander.
Dyer's pick.
All right, now this is a pretty interesting pickup from the Power Rangers. It's not going to really say anything about their Wraith King positioning, but Legion Commander 9 times out of 10 is going to be going towards the off lane. When you're dealing with the Nature's Prophet on the other end, then Legion Commander gets really good. But when you're dealing with a Scarith Mage on the other end, Legion Commander suddenly gets very bad. And Power Rangers don't actually have that many great heroes that synergize with Legion. Like, they'll make use of the press the attack for sure, but you really want to have a lot of burst damage on your team when you pick up a Legion Commander so you could duel someone and then very quickly bring them down. Power Rangers don't really have that, so this Legion Commander might be stranded with 0 duel damage for a good portion of this game.
Yeah, and that's going to be a big problem for Power Rangers. Again, another hero that doesn't combo well with Shadow Demon at all. Getting in range for a duel and maybe delaying enough so you can cast the press the attack on yourself is kind of nice. But honestly, Shadow Demon is only good against Legion Commander. It's really a non-bow. Let's see. We're going to Moscow 5, looking for the next hero to pick up, looking for 2 cores, presumably. And the first one's going to be a TA. It's going to synergize very well with the aggressive playstyle that we've seen previously. Up against a Puck, Templar Assassin should have a wonderful time solo, and if you rotate the Ogre Magi and the Scarith Mage, smoked or not, that is presumably going to be a kill on the Puck, if the stun or the silence lands.
And the Templar Assassin is also a hero that Legion Commander probably doesn't want to end up dueling. I would say if Legion Commander was on M5's side, then that would be a lot more of an appropriate pick, but really Legion is not going to have a great time. She's going to get bursted down very reliably by the high damage heroes of Moscow 5. And well, Templar Assassin going to be running the mid lane versus the Puck, as you said. It's overall a really solid pickup, and Power Rangers don't really have any great tools at dealing with the TA. Maybe the Wraith King's Wraith Fire Blasts will burn through refraction charges, but it's likely that Templar Assassin is just going to get some serious value out of her shield. And really, Wraith King, Shadow Demon, their support rotation, if the Wraith King is being played as support, is dangerous, but it's nothing that the Templar Assassin can't escape from.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Legion Commander, it is noteworthy that her overwhelming odds is going to be nice for cleaning up Nature's Prophet's treants, as well as doing a decent amount of damage inside the teamfights, but a Legion Commander without dual wins is a very lackluster hero, to say the least. The next bans are going to count Necrophos being taken out by Power Rangers, and then a Gyrocopter banned by Moscow 5. Why do you think the Necro is being banned?
I don't really know. However, I'm inclined to think it's something to do with their Legion Commander. You really don't want to have a Legion Commander and a Necrophos on opposite ends because duel just gets so dangerous then. So I think that's most of it. I can't really see any other huge synergy or counter synergy there. It is going to be Luna last for Power Rangers, so support Wraith King is incoming.
Yeah, it seems that way. There's a decent amount of auras coming out from Power Rangers that are going to be nice for them. But honestly, I don't feel that their lineup synergizes well enough to really warrant these picks. It's a lot of good heroes that you'd see in a well-rounded lineup, but in this case, they just don't mesh together. Legion Commander's duel is kind of just a one-off thing. Luna's Eclipse is a similar story. Shadow Demon's not really setting up for anything. I don't know, it's a fruitcake lineup. Right now we have Moscow 5. Their synergy is a little bit more cut and dry. You have a Scarith Mage that's amplifying the damage of the Ogre Magi. They have decent aggressive potential, and if they're able to coordinate all of that, I like Moscow 5's lineup a lot better, even without seeing the 5th pick.
Yeah, I think I'm inclined to agree with you. Like, all these Power Ranger heroes are good, but Wraith King Shadow Demon is with Luna kind of has to be played aggressively, and then you're leaving Legion Commander versus Nature Prophet, which is pretty good. Puck versus TA, which is pretty bad. So, even though the lanes from Power Rangers aren't actually too terrible, the Moscow 5 lineup is just so much more focused. Like, they have all these heroes that work together to play very aggressively. Templar Assassin is going to look to pick up some early game mobility, whether that's boots into drums or blink dagger, doesn't really matter. Nature Prophet should be looking to teleport aggressively as well. And with the Weaver pickup, Power Rangers, they're going to get punished because they have not that much CC. Wraith King, Wraith Fire Blast is dodgeable by Weaver, and Puck Silence is pretty reliable, but that's about it. So I think I like Moscow 5's lineup a lot more than I like Power Rangers for pretty much the same reasons that you listed.
I think that's fair, and Moscow 5, I think they're comfortable at most portions of this game. Even if it goes late, I think they're still going to be fine, unless Legion Commander gets stacked. I think their most important lockdown up against the Weaver is going to be that duel, but if he at any point gets a Lincoln Sphere, or maybe just like a BKB, and or damage, like Legion Commander can't really duel that Weaver very effectively, and getting in range to duel the Weaver is always going to be a problem. Even with a Blink Dagger, a Sikuchi Weaver is really hard to stick onto. Right now we're just waiting for everybody to pick up their heroes and load into the game, but once we do, we'll go ahead and introduce our lineups.
Yeah, so I think we both favor Moscow 5. Power Rangers, what they have to do correct in this game is just not mess up their lanes, because that's really where their biggest strength lies. If their Luna gets off to a great start, if she doesn't end up dying a whole bunch of times, then I could see Power Rangers running off with this game, as a farmed Luna is going to always be very difficult to stop, especially when she has Shadow Demon backup and initiation from the puck. It's going to be very difficult for Moscow 5 to withstand the steady pushing from Power Rangers, just because they'll have so much damage from Lunar Blessing. Getting duels in Legion Commander is also going to be of the utmost importance for the Power Rangers, and well, just use the Legion Commander to save their own towers. Make sure the Treants don't get too much pushing action going with overwhelming odds. If all that happens, Power Rangers will come away with this game, but I don't really know. It seems pretty difficult for all that to happen.
Yeah. Right now it is going to be Power Rangers playing on the Radiant side, with Shashlo handling that Legion Commander as supports. Going to be J4 and the Wraith King, Suniko on the Shadow Demon. We're going to have Cheshire Cat playing in the puck, presumably going towards the offlane, and we're going to have Ditchira playing on the Luna.
On the Moscow 5 side, we got all 5 heroes now loading into the game. Tratata Vigas is going to be playing the Templar Assassin. Brain is on his, I want to say, signature Weaver. I've seen him play that hero quite a bit. Tron is going to be on the Nature's Prophet with PGG for the 3rd time in a row on the Ogre Magi, and King R on the Skywrath Mage, and we are going to get into this game. I think the lanes are pretty much predictable for both sides. Brain most likely going to get protected farm, Templar Assassin mid, Nature's Prophet down bottom. We are seeing all 5 from Power Rangers rotate down to the bottom lane to start things off. With Lunar Blessing, you probably could get away with this pretty much every single time.
Yeah. If they connect with the Wraithfire Blast, it's probably a fairly easy kill, although no boots on the Wraith King or on the Shadow Demon. They haven't popped a smoke either, so it looks like they're just looking to control their side of the map and make sure the Nature's Prophet doesn't get a deep aggressive ward. And if he tries for it, he might die. Tron currently is going to be the target of this 5-man kill if they're able to line it up, but for now just drops his ward in a fairly passive position, then backs off towards his side of the map looking for a block, and they're not going to find anything.
And that's a little bit unfortunate for Power Rangers, but they didn't invest a smoke or anything like that, so they're going to be just fine. The lanes are going to settle pretty much exactly how we predicted. The Shashlo matchup, Legion Commander versus Nature's Prophet, is one that's actually pretty decent for Legion. I don't think she has that many great matchups, but versus Nature's Prophet, if you catch him with his Treants, then overwhelming odds is going to crush through. Other than that, she's going to take a lot of harassment damage, and Legion Commander doesn't actually have that much survivability regeneration in her inventory right now.
Yeah, and it looks like Sheshul might be sitting in the mid lane, sending puck towards the off instead. As Cheshire Cat's making his way towards there, it's going to be a defensive tri-lane. So, although the lanes for Moscow 5 are looking as to be what we expected, it's not going to be that laning orientation coming out from PR. Nature's Prophet up against this tri-lane from Power Rangers needs to be very careful as to not get caught out, and probably going to be forced into the jungle or into rotations to try to find something across the map. Starting with Boots first, however, we'll keep Tron at arm's length, and he shouldn't get caught out, and I don't expect him to die. Although if he missteps, could be caught out by the Wraithfire Blast. Again, we're going to see PGG as well as King R looking aggressively towards the mid lane, although this time there's no courier to snipe. There might be a kill on the Satchlo.
Yeah, the switch of Legion Commander and Puck is definitely going to be benefiting the Puck, as it's not a great lane versus Templar Assassin, and it's a much better lane versus the Nature's Prophet, but Vigas versus Slotchlow is going to be a very much so heavily favored lineup for Templar Assassin. Being a pretty much melee versus melee lineup, Templar Assassin is going to win those, as Legion Commander doesn't really have anything going for her right now. Overwhelming odds is certainly going to be a damaging skill, as Vigas is going to find that out firsthand. Between those casts, and if those casts land on refraction, then Vigas is going to take the sustained edge. Otherwise, Sacho is going to have an okay time. Like, he's probably not going to die until Vigas gets to level 6, but he's going to probably lose in these right-click battles, once Templar Assassin gets a couple more levels up.
Other than that, the safe lanes as well as the off lanes are looking fairly mirrored. Both the Luna as well as the Weaver are farming as to be expected, and the off laners can't really do anything about it. Cheshire Cat currently level 1, Nature's Prophet at a similar spot. I'd expect one of these off laners to give the first blood, and out of the two, I think the Nature's Prophet's a little bit more likely to catch the end of that until we see more levels coming out in the Skywrath Mage. But with level 2 now, this could be a potential kill in the puck if they're able to line up the silence.
And they do have an observer ward in the lane, so they will know when they could go for this kill if they can at all. This puck is actually a lot more vulnerable because of the fact that Skywrath Mage and Ogre Magi have a slew of crowd control effects than he normally is. And Nature's Prophet, he's always going to be in a fairly vulnerable position, especially since if he gets caught in disruption, he's most likely just straight up going to die, but he has a ward protecting him, so ordinarily, Nature's Prophet will be more likely to drop, but this time it's going to be Cheshire Cat who's going to be in a little bit more danger. He's going to jack an Invis rune, though, and that's going to be extremely useful at keeping him safe just to absorb a little more experience.
Yeah, and that'll be nice. I don't really expect there to be any aggressive rotations, at least for now. But yeah, both teams are just going to be happy having a passive lane. I expect mid to be where we see first blood, maybe. I don't know. It's still unlikely. Vigos is going to eat yet another overwhelming odds as he's completely tapped out of mana. Doesn't have the bottle sending to him currently as he went for the Wraith Band first as well as some Tangas. And it's going to be the puck up in top is going to be connected by the Fire Blast as well as the Silence and Concussive Shot that is going to die. They find the opening. I thought he'd be safe with that Invis rune, but I was wrong.
I thought he was going to be safe because he was so far back in his lane, but I guess Fire Blast, as long as it lands, the Silence is pretty much guaranteed to land as well. And puck dropping first blood, not exactly the situation that Power Rangers want to find themselves. The first blood kill itself did go the way of the Skywrath Mage, and, well, we have seen King R on a Skywrath Mage a couple times before, and this time he doesn't have fantastic setup, but definitely adequate setup. If you give the Skywrath Mage a little bit too much early on, then he could certainly punish you for it, so less than ideal start, let's say, for the Power Rangers, as Moscow 5, their lane is going to get off the ground a lot sooner. This puck is now stuck in a corner. He's going to orb himself out, but Blow Your Brain wants to chase forward. The Shikuchi is out. The Arcane Bolts are flying. Cheshire Cat hiding in the trees is going to have a phase shift and as well as a bubble from Suniko teleport in, but here comes PGG from the side. Cheshire Cat is going to get hit one more time by the Arcane Bolt. Now trying to orb out. It's not going to happen. At the same time, Suniko losing straight up in a 1v1 versus PGG, and Blow Your Brain walks away with a double kill. Another huge win for Moscow 5 up on this top lane.
The hero on the side of Moscow 5 that's getting the short end of the stick is Tron on this Nature's Prophet, currently only level 1, going to straight up jungle after he finds nothing in the off lane. Despite not dying, Puck's still able to get more experience out of that, so in a vacuum, it's still okay for PR, unless that happens, where you TP up your Shadow Demon defensively, not only using that TP gold, and then dying on top of it. This Shadow Demon is going to be incredibly poor. Also level 3, however. Shachlo is going to be going down towards bottom looking for the rune. It's going to be a bounty secured to him by J4, refilling the bottle as well as just ensuring that little bit of extra gold. He's actually going to hand the bottle to J4 to get him level 3 as well, so the ganking potential is there. They're going to smoke up, but no level 6 on Legion Commander. They are missing that crucial key to the puzzle, that is Duel. And the Skywrath Mage as well as the Ogre are sitting behind Vigos. This could be a dangerous dive if they end up going for the Templar Assassin.
Yeah, they now know that PGG is in the area. Sacho is going to take a Fire Blast. Not going to get dealt too much damage because of that. Here comes Tron. The bubble is there to save Legion Commander for a little more time, but I think she's in a lot of trouble regardless. PGG is going to get stunned. He's going to be the first one to drop. He might be the only one to drop. In fact, the supports from Power Rangers, they're at the right time, and M5, at this point, it's dangerous diving a Tier 1 tower, and that's pretty much the reason why. Support can come out from nowhere. Granted, those supports didn't teleport in, but still supports being there at all. And Shach, though, actually remarkably tanky. He took a lot less damage from the Fire Blast and everything else than I really thought, and that's because PGG, much like the last games, is only level 2. I don't know how he keeps on finding himself this much of a level deficit as Ogre Magi, but it doesn't really work out for the team.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't. That's going to give a lot more room to the Legion Commander, although she doesn't have her level 6, fighting up against Vigos with level 5. Again, Vigos going to eat himself an overwhelming odds before getting the refraction up. Just not timing that perfectly. Still going to be pretty comfortable. Right now, Luna getting absolute free farm in a 1v0 lane. These supports are freed up from PR to rotate pretty much wherever they want to, as Dishriya is going to feel very comfortable. So is the Weaver, however. The puck can't do very much to Blow Your Brain, and after getting 2 kills and being involved in 1 assist, we're going to see the Weaver at the top of the net worth chart. Although it's a little too early to really say how this game is going. Puck is going to be jumped upon by King R, but we'll be able to jaunt away to his orb after the silence. Just not enough damage. The Templar Assassin wasn't there, neither was the Ogre. Speaking of the Ogre, is going to try to TP out, not going to be able to make it as burn damage, as well as a right click from the Luna is going to be enough to get the kill on PGG, and just like that, it's going to be a kill score tied 2-3. Or almost tied.
Yeah, Ogre getting caught out in a very awkward position, and although he is very tanky, he can't survive 3 heroes like that. This Ogre really needs to find some time and just pull and stack or get something going for himself, because really level 2 Ogre Magi is not going to be doing much for your team. They're going to start the first duel over on mid. Vigos most likely will not lose this duel, but he probably will give his life regardless. That's going to be a kill going the way of Legion Commander. Unfortunately, Duel was used very early on, and that's really the non-bow synergy of Shadow Demon and Legion Commander. They don't really work well together as there's no burst damage on the Shadow Demon, but it is a kill regardless for the Legion Commander. It's going to give her a nice foothold in this lane, and Shadow Demon getting a little bit of experience as well. Has actually gone for 2 in Disruption. That's almost unheard of this early on, so I think that might be a mistake from Soniko, but hell, with the extra levels and experience he got from that kill assist, he's going to be able to redeem that little bit of a misskill.
Yeah. I don't know. There's not really anybody that's going to give them any benefit from those extra illusions damage, especially this early on. And even later on, the Weaver is more going to be focused on just plus damage, or maybe those proc effects with the Gemini attack, rather than going for just straight up stats. Templar Assassin again taking a decent amount of damage. The Sentry in mid's going to do a decent bit, but Cheshire still can't man-fight, but they are going to find themselves a stun. Going the way of the Weaver, disjointed by the Tsukuchi, and nothing's going to happen after that, although the puck is eating a lot of damage when the Fire Blast comes out, and he might just fall to his Tsukuchi. No, not going to happen. This defensive disruption is going to keep him safe, and everybody survives in the top lane. Silence, however, from the Skywrath Mage, and one Arcane Bolt will change that fact as King R gets a kill.
Yeah, it took a very large amount of time for Moscow 5 to get that to happen, but Skywrath Mage with the wraparound did make it happen in the end, and well, at the end of the day, it's a kill, so you can't really be too unhappy about that. This puck is 0-3-0, Cheshire Cat having a very poor game, and really that's because he just can't get anything done with the lane situation. J4 up on top lane is going to get aggressed upon. He does have enough to survive, just barely. Ditchy is going to come in, however, he's going to take a Fire Blast for his efforts. Level 2 Fire Blast, Blur Brain, without much in order to follow up, is going to go down, but it's over towards the Wraith King side, over on top lane. Looks like Templar Assassin with a deep dive with a Haste Rune found that kill. I did not expect that to happen. TA rotating very quickly in, then got himself out. It's a kill for Moscow 5 after all, although not on the hero that I really thought. I mean, Wraith King barely survived, so I guess he did kind of deserve to go down there.
I suppose so. The Luna rotating is probably more impactful. The Luna wasted quite a lot of time where the Weaver was able to continue farming, and she's going to be forced all the way back down towards bottom. Yasha on the Luna looks like we're going to see Ditchy Ra going for more of a farming build. This game potentially into the Helm of a Dominator next. BKB is almost going to be a necessity, however, as the burst damage from the Ogre Giant Skywrath Mage almost alone necessitates that item.
Yeah, unfortunately, BKB, although it is a great tool against those heroes, it's not that good versus TA, it's not that good versus Weaver. So no matter what, this Luna is going to have a little bit of trouble. It's going to be somewhat helped by the fact that she is getting so much farm. Like, it doesn't really matter if the BKB isn't going to solve all your problems. If you have enough gold, you could pretty much solve any problem, not only in Dota, but also in real life. Luna is going to need a lot of farm, though, and she's getting a lot of farm. She has 1 kill, 0 deaths, 0 assists. She's been pretty much left alone, and I think this is pretty much ideal for Power Rangers. Even though they are going up against late-game Weaver and late-game TA with Bloodlust, they can't really pressure them this early on, I don't think.
Yeah, neither do I. Right now, it's just going to be more or less a passive game. Tron is continuing to jungle away. He has picked up his first null talisman. I'm not sure if he's going to fully commit to this build. I think he'll upgrade his boots at the very least. I don't think he'll go for Blade Mail, although it's not an awful choice. Veteran going to be spotted up in top. The puck is going to jump forward and picks it up, although he might have overstepped his bounds. There's a silence as well as a meld strike from the TA, and I think Puck is just going to die for that bounty rune. Was not worth for the Puck.
Hey, you got to get yourself that like 50 gold or whatever, so Puck is going to go down for the 4th time. I mean, to be fair, he wasn't actually going to do anything else during that time, but yeah, that was most certainly not worth it. This Puck is just a constant nuisance for Power Rangers to deal with, and yes, Power Rangers to deal with because they are on the same team. Puck is feeding quite a lot towards Moscow 5, and well, getting a kill on Ditchy Ra now. Moscow 5 looking to be aggressive down on bottom. Disrupting, though, going to catch Blur Brain right on the edge. Now Soniko's going to look to teleport out. He might get fire blasted. No, he's going to survive, and Nature Prophet going to get spawned on Ditchy Ra, but the Eclipse burns him down very quickly. It will be a 1-for-1 trade in the end. They kill off the Luna in exchange for Nature Prophet. Very much so worth it. J4 in the back end is going to think about coming in with some help from the Puck. Does he have his coil yet? No, he doesn't. Brain should not be going now. Shosh, though, has a duel available, but it's going to be hard to close the distance and get a duel and win it. So it will be a 1-for-1 trade down on bottom, and the push might continue for Power Rangers, but this is a push that Moscow 5 can fight.
It definitely is. For now, they're not in position to do so, as they're going in mid. They get the duel off into Vigos, and he doesn't have the refraction up, and I think he's going to lose the duel, and that's going to be your first charge of damage on the Legion Commander at about 10 minutes in, or about 11 rather. It is due for that first duel victory, and it is going to come on to the Templar Assassin. So good pick off for PR. And that's going to give them a decent amount of gold swing. They had to commit a lot of heroes to it, but it was definitely worth it, especially now that they, oh, actually, no, that's going to be denied by the Weaver. I thought the creeps might have gotten that last hit, but no, Player Brain is going to deny that little bit of extra gold away from Power Rangers.
So the lanes from Power Rangers didn't exactly work out the way they really planned. Getting a kill on Templar Assassin with Midas is going to be very nice for sure, but Blair Brain is well on his way to his Lincolns. He should have that one by 14 minutes absolute tops, even if he does die right now. So Weaver's is farming up pretty decently, and once he gets the Lincolns, there's not much that Power Rangers can really do about that. Like, it'll block Duel, it'll block Wraithfire Blast, Disruption, Lucent Beam. It has quite a wide array of usage, and Power Rangers were already disable Light dealing with his Weaver. With Lincoln Sphere, it gets even more difficult.
Yeah, even though it's still counterable, it's just that little bit of extra time that Weaver is going to need to get off of Sakuchi, or a time lapse in team fights, which is plenty. And then Blur Brain's going to be free to go for a damage item as we find the Wraith King in mid getting exploded by Scarlet Mage ultimate. No level 6 available for Wraith King, and even if he had it, I'm not sure if it would have been worth blowing it there. They are going to rotate their puck in the Shadow Team behind him, but still it's going to be another pickoff going the way of Moscow 5 as the Legion Commander is dropping fairly low to creeps, but she'll be fine after healing herself with the press of the attack.
Still, we have yet to see any real push coming out for Moscow 5. With the Treants being maxed out, you would expect that to be, at least a little bit of pressure applied to the Power Rangers towers. But for the most part, Moscow 5 have just been going for these kills, and that's a fine way to go. But I think they could capitalize a little bit more. It will be a top lane tower, which they will finally get, unless Puck rotates in and gets the deny. Let's see, on a scale of 1 to baller, how baller Cheshire Cat is. It's going to be a tower almost freely deniable, but I don't know if he's going to be able to connect on the last hit. Meantime, mid lane, Vigos is doing the exact same thing. The tower is destroyed. Poor Cheshire Cat, he loses, and well, it's another kind of adding insult to injury for Moscow 5, as they are ahead in pretty much every other regard, but yeah, that happened.
Yes, it did. Inside the Sprout, there's nowhere for him to run, and without any of his spells available, no way to avoid that damage. So Puck is going to be exploded, and in the meantime, Tier 1 Tower in mid's being pushed by Vigos. He is going to be demonically purged up as Shashel is looking for the dual victory. They eat the Refraction first, but now he's Invis and is going to throw the Meld onto Shashel. He just have a backup, and is actually getting some uphill misses. I don't think they're going to get this dual victory before they get the kill on Vigos, but Vigos surely will fall. And so they find yet another kill, as in the meantime, inside the jungle, Dichira is going to be tagged by an Ignite, but that's all she wrote, as Blurry Brain steals a couple of their jungle creeps.
Yeah, TA going down yet again is starting to actually become pretty problematic for Moscow 5. Like, even though they don't give damage to the Legion Commander, it's still Templar Assassin going down. And even though she has a Hand of Midas to recover, you really want your Templar Assassin to be running the game at this point. Like, she has maxed out Meld, maxed out Refraction. You want her to be rotating everywhere and just constantly getting kills. And instead, she's constantly being rotated upon and constantly dying, which is pretty much the complete opposite you want your Templar Assassin to be. So it's a lot of wasted potential for Moscow 5 just because Vigos is not actually leaving the lane. He's left the lane like once for a kill on the Wraith King up on top off of the haste room, but that's pretty much it. He's been stagnant over on the mid lane, and he is not going to bring down the tower just yet, so he doesn't even have that to kind of show off for all of his efforts.
Yeah, Legion Commander was looking potentially on bottom for a kill on the Weaver with the duel, although with the Lincoln Sphere already completed on Blurry Brain, it would have been very difficult, and potentially will get turned upon as they're going to spot Eyes and Shash will blink away, will keep himself safe. The concussive shot doesn't land, but in the meantime, we are going to see down in bottom, J4 almost losing his ultimate. One more attack is all that they need, and J4 is going to hold on to his ulti for now as the Fire Blast goes in the backlines on the Legion Commander. Ultimate from the Sky with Mage does very little to Shachlo, but they still should be able to get this kill. Shachlo turns back in the Weaver, but they might lose PGG for it. He's going to need the overwhelming odds as well as Wraithfire Blast. Cheshire Cat is also dropping fairly low, although nobody's dying on the side of PR. They lose their ultimate on the Wraith King, but all that's going to do is slow everybody down. Brave Brandon Sakuchi is going to be completely safe, but King R is not going to be so, as the duel is going to go the way of Shachlo. Now 24 damage.
Not really sure why Moscow 5 were pushing that aggressively for a kill right there. Like, yes, they are very powerful, but once you miss the Mystic Flare, it's all over. They need to rotate in both Vigos as well as Tron if they actually want to get a fight going, and Ninja Prophet kind of had his hands full over on top lane. Same exact thing for Vigos over in mid, so Moscow 5 taking a very questionable fight. I mean, they knew they had the numbers disadvantage. They were very close to an enemy tier 1 tower. That's kind of to be expected, so I don't really know what they were trying to accomplish there, and they get punished for it. They really need this Templar Assassin to be in those fights, at the very least, if they want to come out ahead.
Yep. Luna's going to be forced off of her lane by a solo Weaver. She will be able to TP back to safety, and it's going to be BKB next for Luna. She does have quite a large amount of farm. It's comparable to the Weaver. In the meantime, Saniko going to be spotted by a trap, but Vigos is going to be stunned by the Wraithfire Blast, then the multicast on J4. J4 is probably going to lose his life, although the defensive disruption is going to delay things. 1-2 attacks is all that they need, but now Vigos going to eat the majority of an Eclipse. He is going to be impissed on the ground, taking a lot of damage. The Orange Charge is going to keep him alive, and there's no detection on anybody, so Vigos is going to be able to survive throughout all of this. Popping bottle charges as well as Fraction might be able to turn onto the puck. He's going to get the Melt Strike, and that's going to be a double kill for Vigos. Nature's Prophet ultimate is going to spread throughout all of this, but no TP in yet. The Nature's Prophet as he just went down towards bottom. Still going to be a team fight win for Moscow 5 as all they lose is the Ogre and they come away with 2 kills.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. I don't really know why Power Rangers are caught without detection. I mean, it's a TA on the other end. You kind of do need that. Even though Eclipse was used, ultimately if you don't get any kills with it, then it's not going to be a very useful skill. I mean, it's pretty pointless then, but it will be Vigos collecting a whole bunch, and still it's not him rotating out of the lanes, but I guess as long as Power Rangers bring the fight to Vigos, then Vigos is going to be more than happy to oblige, as this Templar Assassin he showed off how much damage he actually was able to do by killing off a puck. He literally two-shot him, and that's a high amount of damage to say the least, so puck is going to continue to be of questionable relevance in this game, as Silence is going to be very nice, but he is nowhere close to a Blink Dagger. He's 2,000 gold away from it. By this stage, on most pucks, they should have it already, and then be working on their next item.
Yeah, and Cat's not going to be so lucky. He's died 6 times this game, which is really the reason why you're not going to see it. To be fair, he's an offlane puck and not farming very well either, but still, it's worse farm than you'd be seeing on like a support Earthshaker. Yeah, it's not pretty. Weaver is going to be working towards his next item. I'm not sure exactly what that's going to be, but they are going to find themselves a dual victory as the defensive disruption comes out onto Shatchlow. They are able to kill off PGG, and now the tier 1 tower push is going to come out as well. It's Templar Assassin and company go for the puck on the top. A couple more auto attacks is all that they need, and one more from the Weaver will do the puck in. So it's a 1-for-1 trade across the map. And I think it's going to be 1-for-1 tower trade as well, although Legion Commander does get a little bit more damage because of it.
That was just Templar Assassin and Weaver both invis and then just ambushed the crap out of that puck, and he had no chance. The tower is going to be fortified over mid. They want to fight this one. Eclipse not available, and Diddyrod's going to get hit with the stun to start things off. Now the BKB is there. He's going to try to turn and fight instead, changing his mind and will TP out, but the physical damage is way too high with the Templar Assassin in the game, and he's going to drop. Now Schlachto has been potentially a little bit of trouble. Blink Dagger is going to be canceled, and the slow is going to be almost permanently there. Schlachto is going to try to get enough space to blink out, but now that the Sprout is up, so he's going to go down on top of that. Moscow 5, it looked like it was going to be a slight trade benefit for them, but instead it's a huge one as they defend their tower and they get a whole bunch of kills to boot.
Yeah, Vigos now with his completed BKB, Weaver with a Mithril Hammer as well. The items are going to come out for Moscow 5, and even without them, the physical damage coming up from these heroes is ridiculous. The BKB on the Luna meant very little to nothing, trying for the TP out just a little too late. This Luna needs more, and I'm not sure she's going to be able to find it. The map control is going to start dissolving around her. I'm not sure where Blow Your Brain's going to go with this Mithril Hammer. I'm fine with either Maelstrom or Desolator. I think anything but BKB is fine.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I agree. Anything is good, so as long as you do have a little bit of damage flowing, then Moscow 5 will continue to be playing this aggressive style, and while having an Aegis is definitely going to help in that in a big way. Vigos securing himself that double life. Midas working overtime. He has gone for BKB himself, so Templar Assassin is going to be free to pretty much roam and do whatever she wants, though I think I would like to see a little bit more of an aggressive build from Templar Assassin as opposed to Hand of Midas BKB, which is kind of awkward, but at the end of the day, she's going to have farm no matter what, as the Hand of Midas is going to guarantee that. So M5, even if they don't get their aggression into objectives, into Raxes, they're completely fine taking this super late.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's going to be an armlet on your Legion Commander. It's a nice damage item, but you'd really like to have it already. And Shatchlow, despite having 38 damage stolen, it's still not enough. He's not able to stick on targets very effectively. They need more lockdown, I think, is your biggest issue coming out from PR right now, and that's going to stay the case for the majority of this game. Legion Commander TPing out, as does the, excuse me, oh dear, yeah, just the Legion Commander TPing out. There's not going to be anything else happening in top as Tron's farming under a tower. The tier 1 tower up in there is not looking too healthy, and neither is the tier 1 tower in mid, although they still have glyphs. We are going to see Disha Raw being tagged by the trap of the TA. No TP in from Nature's Prophet, however. That could have potentially led to a kill on the Luna, but it's very aggressive. Down at bottom, Blow Your Brain going to be dueled up, and this time they're going to be able to get him, not able to get that dual victory, but Wraith King does secure the kill. No time lapse available for the Weaver, or wasn't able to get it off, rather.
he had time lapse and he could have lived if he just slammed that button, but he decided to Shikuchi expecting invisibility, but Sentry Ward was down. So that was kind of blow your brain, making just the wrong call, and he got punished for it. He could have easily slipped away from there. The damage from Power Rangers, it was enough to kill off a Weaver once, but it was very, very slow, and that was literally everyone from Power Rangers hitting him. So this Weaver is extremely durable, despite the fact that he doesn't actually have that much going for him in the ways of survivability items. So Power Rangers, they're going to need to bring a little bit more heat than that, as it was just barely enough to get the Weaver kill. And if the Weaver played correctly, it wouldn't have been even that. So Weaver is going to go down in the end, which kind of sucks. He is going to go for the Desolator in the end. So Weaver is going to be getting a little more damage, ignoring his survivability, and still Moscow 5, they're heavily applying pressure everywhere on the map. So Power Rangers, they're struggling to get any of their basic items up. Puck, maybe finally he'll get his Blink Dagger 25 minutes into the game.
We'll see. Cheshire Cat's still saving up for it, and if he dies one or two times, it could be even longer than that. But hopefully, for his case, it will come out sooner rather than later. TPing from the Nature's Prophet. No, it's going to be from the Luna, as they're looking for wraparound on the Skyrath Mage as well as the Ogre. They're going to find themselves the duel on the Skyrath, and he is going to fall. The Ogre is going to eat a Dream Coil as well, and caught between too many enemy heroes. It's going to be easy pickings for PR as they find the two supports with their pants down.
And they tried to leave, but it was just a little bit too late. Puck was already there, and now Puck finally has his Blink Dagger. So maybe we could see some Puck initiations this game, although those might be a little bit questionable. Legion Commander, with 52 damage now, 22 minutes into the game, that's pretty substantial for any Legion Commander, really. So if they could keep getting kills and dual wins for Legion Commander, then they'll be in the pretty good shape. They haven't lost any duels, which is, I guess, pretty good for the Power Ranger side, but they've been winning quite a few as well. So this Legion Commander might be a lot more of a damaging threat than ordinarily we see. Usually it's like 52 damage by the end of the game for Legion Commanders, but it's going to be Tron teleporting right into an Eclipse again. Why are you keep on doing that? I don't know why. Ditchy Ra's going to take a lot of damage from the Templar Assassin. It will not be enough to bring the Luna down, but TP is needed. Doesn't have it channeled immediately, and now he's going to be brought down by the Weaver. So Nico's somehow going to hide in the corner and TP out. I don't know how he got himself that far in with the Tangos and was able to survive, but again, Tron is, I don't know why he would do that again. He already did that once, and he got killed for it.
Yeah, I don't know. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. The Nature's Prophet shouldn't have been there. With Blade Mail, maybe he thought he could turn enough damage on the Luna, but she has BKB. She actually doesn't care. Tier 2 Tower is going to fall in the favor of Moscow 5. Even though they lose their Nature's Prophet as well as their supports beforehand, they probably will get this tower. Although Wraithfire Blast onto Vigos deep in enemy lines will be able to get the refraction off. And with the Weaver as well as the Templar Assassin, it'll be plenty of damage in order to take it. They might find somebody on the retreat, but it doesn't look like they will. 3,200 gold on the Templar Assassin, completed Desolator on the Weaver. Moscow 5, despite leaking a couple of their heroes, they're offlaning their supports, their cores are still looking as strong as ever.
And Vigos still has his Aegis, so M5, they get a nice win up on top lane. They're going to be looking to get wins elsewhere as far as taking down tier 2 towers, because then they have the Aegis. You might as well. Luna is going to go full-on YOLO mode. Mask of Madness pickup. I don't think it's really necessary this game. She's doing fine. It's kind of pointless. Tron on the bottom lane, though, he's going to get dueled up, and Shacho's doing so much damage right now, it's going to be yet another win. Soniko might be the trade, although he has a disruption and a TP out. He's completely surrounded by creeps, and here comes Vigos. He's going to, well, not secure the kills. Actually, Shacho going to help Soniko escape. He's going to cancel his TP. No, Soniko, why? Now he's going to go down. At the same time, PGG fighting against the puck. He's getting a nice multicast onto Shacho, not to bring him down, but still Vigos is at full HP, and he's going to go to town Cheshire Cat. Just not enough to kill him off. One more hit. There it is. And now Shacho is going to be on the run. Templar Assassin will land another trap as Blow Your Brain does Shikuchi forward. Shacho doesn't really have anything in order to get himself out of this. The right clicks are going to be enough, although with the armlet, he might be able to slip away for a Blink Dagger. Blow Your Brain is going to interrupt it, and now the damage should be enough unless we see another Ghost to Armlet toggle. There it is. Shacho's going to live. Armlet is a strong item, guys, and that's still going to be the benefit of Moscow 5, but at least they don't lose the Legion Commander.
Yeah. I don't know. The Armlet toggles were great coming up from Chatchflow. It's not the hardest since it's only one hero, but it was well executed, so you can't take it away anything from it. The Legion Commander played well. Tier 2 tower down in bottom, however, is going to fall with the Desolator on the Weaver, not even being used right now. They're probably going to take it, although right now they're playing very defensively and just don't want to have anything to do with PR. We didn't really have a lot of time to talk about the Mask of Madness pickup on the Luna. I'm not sure we really need to. I hate it. It doesn't scale incredibly well late. It's a nice farming item. It feels like it's too late in the game in order to consider going for it. Vigos not going to be tagged by the right fire blast. There's no detection on this Wraith King. He will meld BKB and probably is going to be able to get out of here alive. Vigos going to not be dueled as it's King R taking the brunt of this damage, and it's going to be more damage in the pockets of Satchelo. And that's going to be 80 damage on Legion Commander. That's very significant for this portion of the game. Satchelo has just had a really good time finding those pickoffs on the supports mostly.
Yeah, at the same time, Blow Your Brain was up top killing off the puck, so what they are gaining on the Legion Commander, they're losing in this puck, taking his 9th death of the game solo to a Weaver. It really should not be happening, but it's happening regardless. This Legion Commander is, it's one of the heroes that has infinite scaling, along with like the puck and the Pudge and the Silencer. So it's at a certain point where Legion Commander can just be the most terrifying hero on the map, even if she's not getting a lot of gold. But I don't think we're at that point yet. Despite that, she's still having 80 damage. That's substantial. Even if Dichira is going to get annihilated due to the Mask of Madness, having a very tanky Legion Commander right behind her is going to be fine. I mean, Power Rangers, they're going to have someone to fall back on, and as the worst case scenario, that seems like a pretty decent one to me. Luna might be in a little bit of trouble as here comes Blow Your Brain, going to land the Swarm in a couple of attacks, but it's not really going to be enough. The Mask of Madness is a budget item, and this is not a budget game. This is a game where you need to go big or go home.
Yeah, I think it's fair. Vigos is not going to be going for any budget items. He's going to be working towards that butterfly. In fact, almost having it completed. Even if the Legion Commander has a ridiculous amount of damage, with the refraction as well as with the butterfly evasion, Templar Assassin's still going to be feeling very comfortable throughout these teamfights and absolutely dishing, especially with the minus armor from the Weaver's Deso. And speaking of which, it will do in this tier 2 tower down in bottom as Weaver notches himself the last hit. Nature's Prophet, however, might get cut out by Satchelo, looking for the jump in, going to be able to find Tron, but no vision inside the sprout. They do get the disruption, cancel the TP. Now Satchelo, easy duel victory for him. That's going to be 94 damage.
My god, this Legion Commander is going to get so much. I'm predicting 150 at least. That's my guess. I don't know what you think, but it is going to be another kill on Nature's Prophet, who has also been really struggling in this game. He's 0-4-5. He's been kind of in the background. He's always kind of been there, but really not willing to engage. Blade Mail, Maelstrom is a fighting build for Nature's Prophet, but he really can't afford to be fighting 1v5 like that. Not a good time for him. So it's kind of equal amounts of feeding going either way, but still Templar Assassin and Weaver, they're getting their big items up, which is the most important thing for Moscow 5. Even if their Nature's Prophet ends up feeding another 6 kills, it doesn't really matter because Templar Assassin and Weaver are just going to be able to carry the game pretty much by themselves.
Yeah, Weaver currently sending the courier over to the side shop. I think his next item is going to be Daedalus. But I think it's going to be built out of a Demon Edge either way. Might consider building himself a Monkey King bar, but no, it's going to be a Heart. Weaver just looking for more tank. It was already hard enough to kill the Weaver, and now it's going to be pretty close to impossible. Unless they have everybody focused down the Weaver. In a team fight, that's just not realistic, because if you do focus everybody on the Weaver, you're going to have a Templar Assassin that's ripping you to shreds. Not to mention the Scarlet Mage, Ogre, and Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, not good times. This is just such a scary time for Power Rangers. Like, even though their Luna is actually having quite a bit of CS, she's on top of the CS board, in fact, but that's not really adequate enough as the net worth is being topped by Templar Assassin and Weaver. These are two heroes you do not want to get really big. It's a matter of time before Roshan is going to respawn for Moscow 5, and yes, I said for Moscow 5 because between meld damage and Weaver Desolate, or it is Desolate, no, Corruption it's actually called, this just in, they'll be able to clear Roshan very, very easily and very quickly. Plus, they have the trap to kind of notify themselves when Roshan actually does respawn. So it should be a pretty easy Aegis. And Power Rangers, they technically do have a team that could punish a Roshan fight, but I don't think they're in any position to do so.
Yeah, neither do I. Desolate's the Spectre spell. Yeah, it would be confusing if both of them were called Desolate. You could have a double Desolate Spectre. That would be kind of interesting. Let's see. Roshan is going to be respawning right now, and into the pit. I think Moscow 5 are going to go with the DD on Vigos. This is going to be one of the faster Roshans you've ever seen, especially with Mask of Madness on top of it. This Roshan's not long for this world. There's not much that PR can get across the map with the way that they're currently positioned. Aegis is going to be left there. I'm not sure if Vigos or Weaver are going to pick it up. It's going to be Weaver after all is said and done. Either way, I think they can't really go wrong. There's going to be a Ring of Basilius casually stashed inside the Roshan pit, but that's about all that they lost for that. Legion Commander was hunting Nature's Prophet and doesn't find anything, and Legion Commander is working towards a BKB. PR, this Legion Commander is going to be probably their most important hero throughout these team fights. Really the only one that's doing significant damage is the Luna's just going to die too fast before she's able to get that off. 2600 gold, however, on the Luna. Her item progression is going to continue throughout this game. The Mask of Madness helps her farm very quickly. Is it going to be enough? I'm not sure. Right now it's going to be Moscow 5 making the move in mid lane.
Yeah, now with the Desolator from the Weaver, this tower is taking quite a bit of damage. Bloodlust as well. That's going to certainly help out. I think it's a little bit of an error. Ooh, Luna Deny. That's going to be useful, although probably not too relevant. I think it is a mistake to put the Aegis on the Weaver. He is going for the heart, and he already has the Lincoln Sphere. He has Time-Lapse Shukuchi as well, whereas Templar Assassin doesn't really have that many tools to get out of there, so I feel like Aegis on TA would have definitely been better, and they were definitely preparing for that. Vigos dropped his item, and he really wanted that, so it's I don't know if M5 are going to be able to get value out of it, but they're certainly going to try. With all the tier 2 towers down, it should be them looking to push high ground. They have a heart all but completed on the Weaver. He just has to fly that out and get him that regeneration, and then they should be looking for high ground, as they're going to get stronger for sure, but I think it's going to be Power Rangers getting stronger at an accelerated rate. So they have the Aegis, you might as well go for a push, and it looks like it's going to be all hands on deck for the bottom lane.
Yeah, seems that way. Wraith King currently finds himself in a very awkward situation inside the trees. He should be safe and eventually will TP out, but for now is currently, I don't know what he's doing, looking for a creep cut that might cost him his life, or at least his ultimate. He's going to show his face and wants to save that TP scroll. I'm not sure it's going to cost him anything, as they don't have any traps down here, and J4 is going to avoid being spotted out by Blow Your Brain.
Well, he's still on a super secret mission. I guess initiation from behind from Wraith King is not something M5 would expect. At the same time, Power Rangers, they're up on top lane. Luna with Mask of Madness is fantastic at killing off towers and killing off Raxes as well, if she could actually get there. I don't know if Moscow 5 are going to feel pressured enough to run back and defend this. They have Heart on the Weaver completed. Templar Assassin looks like she's going to go for hers as well, and they're just going to go for it. You cannot really race a Weaver with Desolator and Bloodlust. So Power Rangers, they might get a tier 2 tower out of this, but now they're going to very quickly lose a tier 3. They have to do something in order to hold this, or at the very least their Raxes. Otherwise you might as well GG out right now. The tower's going to survive for just a little while longer, and M5 looking for initiation in. They don't really have any great ways of doing so, however, so it's most likely going to be Power Rangers to start this fight. Blow Your Brain's going to take a stun to start things off. He has the Aegis, though. He's going to time-lapse all of that damage out. Now the duel onto Vigos. Can they kill off Vigos with this duel? Shacho might end up losing his first duel. He will lose, and Vigos still fighting. He's going to drop to the Mystic Flare, but it's still going to be Ditchy Ra to be the last one standing. He's going to go to town onto everyone else. Here comes Blow Your Brain. Did respawn after that Aegis. Tron will go down to the end. Blow Your Brain now all alone. He can't really fight up against 4 heroes like this, and Moscow 5, they have to try to retreat with their last remaining hero. Blow Your Brain should be able to survive, but Templar Assassin got focused down so well by Power Rangers. It was really just the focus fire of their team in general that made that fight happen. Even though they lost the duel to the Templar Assassin, the fact that they brought her down at the same time brought Weaver down, or very quickly forced out the time lapse, means that they're going to take a 1 fight, and that's a pretty nice one to win. 1 for 5 in the end.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It is going to be 1 for 5 if you include the Aegis. Weaver did survive at the end of all of that. They lose their 2-3 tower but hold on to their Rex. So it is a 1 fight for PR, although Templar Assassin isn't going to be too heartbroken about it. 18 damage is nothing to scoff at when you're talking about a TA. Yeah, still not terrible for Moscow 5, but not good for them either. They can't do that another 1 or 2 times, or they will be in some trouble. Luna, now, with the completed butterfly, Ditchira is going to become relevant inside these team fights, as now he has some hope of avoiding the damage coming out from the TA as well as the Weaver. Weaver's next item presumably is going to be MKB in order to counteract this, but he will only have the Demon Edge if he wants to purchase it now, and probably will shy away until he has money for buyback, so it's going to be some time before they have any way to pierce through this. And even without it, the Flutter is going to mean that Luna is running at 522 movement speed, and we'll actually scratch that with the Mask of Madness. She's already doing so.
Yeah, Luna's pretty damn fast, and if Moscow 5 aren't actively focusing this Luna, then they're certainly going to be punished. Like, we kept on mentioning how Mask of Madness, not a good item, not a good item. That's under the assumption that she's actually getting focused by the enemy team at all, and that last fight wasn't the case. Ditchira was able to survive for the entire time. He was throwing out right clicks pretty freely, and was able to do so much damage in that last fight. So if that could continue to happen, then this Luna is going to get away with this item. Really, Moscow 5 have to do a little bit of a better job at focusing their fire, especially on this Luna and Legion Commander, is where they should be throwing the most of their attention, but it's hard trying to do that when you're working against disruptions, when your enemy has pressed the attack, and a Wraith King with a Heaven's Halberd completed, so it's a tall order, certainly, for Moscow 5. Taking down a tier 3 tower, although nice, they're going to need a little bit more, and I actually kind of feel like this game might be slipping away from them. Luna's getting to the point where she could realistically 1v3 and come out on top.
Yeah, I think this next Roshan is going to be critical for Moscow 5. If they're able to get the Aegis, maybe win a fight around the Roshan pit, or at least transition the Aegis into a high ground push, they'll be in a good situation. But if they're not able to do that, you're going to be facing down a Luna that has their 6th item completed, as well as a Legion Commander that's probably going to have over 100 damage stolen, and more than anything, the game is just going to be very difficult for Moscow 5, as their execution's just going to be so critical. That Wraith King picking up the Heaven's Halberd is actually very crucial, especially up against the likes of the Wraith King, as we see the Weaver going strong against Shachlu. He needs to be careful, though. It's going to be forced to time-lapse, actually. Not sure if that was entirely necessary, even a misclick. We'll see. Multicast comes out from the Orgrimmar Jai, going to throw the Ignite on multiple heroes. Not really very impactful, that time-lapse usage, as he probably won't need it in the next 30 seconds, but I'm not exactly sure what that was for.
Yeah, I guess better safe than sorry. He knew that there was a couple of heroes there, so might as well get himself out of there while he still can. He actually might get punished for this one, potentially. There's a Wraithfire Blast and the Coil. Boiler Brain now stunned up and hexed. He's going to wish he had the time lapse, although I don't really know if he would have even had a chance to cast it. It's yet another one duel for Shosh, though, now up to 112, and Weaver down has a buyback, but that's a very nice pick off for Power Rangers. They could push this top lane and try to pressure this buyback.
Nature's Prophet now with his completed Scythe as well is going to help the lockdown coming out from Moscow 5. But this push coming out from Power Rangers is probably going to force your buyback out of the Weaver. And that's a scary thing for Moscow 5, is you'd really like to have that Weaver holding on to another big damage item, and that's not going to happen.
All right, so Treasure Cat now with the Scythe of Vice is guaranteed relevance. Over on mid lane, Dejira is going to annihilate this tower with his Mantis-style illusions, clean up the creep wave at the exact same time, so they're going to get at the very, very least a tier 2 tower. They're actually going to be forced back to in order to defend. They're going to initiate onto Vigos over on mid, but Force Staff is going to keep this Templar Assassin safe. They can't get anything substantial done with this Weaver down. That's actually kind of surprising. I thought they would teleport one person back, maybe Cheshire Cat, in order to defend this bottom lane from the Nature's Prophet split push, and then put everyone else up on top, but they instead settle for a tier 2 tower, and now Weaver's going to be up again. So an opportunity, I think, where Power Rangers could have gotten a lot more. Instead, they don't really get that much.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. This Weaver is back in fighting shape, and now his item progression is going to be looking about the same as what it was before. It's a minute where he's not farming, which is technically gold lost by the Weaver, but it's a lot better than having to spend the 2,000 or some odd in order to buy back. Roshan timer, it's going to be a fairly long one coming out from Moscow 5. Unfortunate enough for them, it's going to be about 25 seconds or so off of max time. But then again, PR potentially have the tools that they need in order to fight around the Roshan pit. With Puck as well as a Wraith King blinking in there, their chances are a lot better than the previous one. We are going to see a smoke coming in from Moscow 5, although broken in mid by Vigos. I'm not sure if it was broken while he's coming down from high ground, but they're looking for the big wraparound. They find the courier. Nothing was on it, although it's still a decent pickoff if that's all that happens. Vigos going to TP down towards bottom, trying to save this tier 2 tower. All he can hope for is a deny, and he doesn't even get that. The TPs are going to stop this Jichira from doing anything else, but Vigos needs to be careful, and maybe blow your brain. He's going to eat the Dream Coil as now the duel goes this way, and there's too much damage. The Weaver's going to fall, and now Vigos going to be stunned up. He's not taking any focus fire, however. They will lose their puck on the backlines, but still buyback from the Weaver is going to get back into this fight as BKB's wearing up in Chachlo. They might be able to focus him down, but Deshira is also not being focused throughout the majority of this, and Weaver needs to be incredibly careful on the sidelines. He did time-lapse there, I believe, but he needs to get out now. Blow Your Brain is going to survive, I believe. Nothing else is going to happen, but that could change at the drop of a dime if they catch eyes on this Weaver. Weaver is not going to be spotted yet and is working with heart regen, so it's not going to be a very clean pickoff for PR, and nothing else is going to happen. Although the Weaver buyback forced out, it's a huge win for PR.
Yeah, 1-1 and the buyback. The really lack of disables coming again to bite Power Rangers in the ass, as Luna was constantly running around and occasionally throwing out some right clicks on some people, but really couldn't just sit there and throw out glaives constantly as Luna's typically like to do. And really that's just because they wasted so many of their tools in order to kill off the Weaver, and well, Weaver just popped right back up. So a nice little win for Power Rangers, though it's going to be them once again being forced to fight near the Roshan pit. It's going to still be a little bit of time before he actually responds, though, and if Power Rangers can find initiation like that onto Blow Your Brain every single time, then they're going to be looking fantastic in this game. But J4 is in potentially a little bit of trouble. It has a Heaven's Halberd available to him, has Dejira in the area to support as well, so no one's going to die just yet. But Moscow 5, they really want this Roshan. They're positioning the bottom lane. It's pushing out for Roshan. Mid lane's pushing out as well. And with the Desolator Weaver, Templar Assassin is kind of near the area. They should be able to jump in and very quickly clear it, assuming no intervention from the Power Rangers. But Power Rangers, they seem to know about this. They are going to go and check it out. They don't have any luxury of sonic traps or anything like that, so they will have to manually check it. And they actually see it respawn, I think. Yes, they will. So this is a good intel for Power Rangers, but with Nature's Prophet on the other end, I don't really know if Power Rangers will ever be in a position where they can contest Roshan.
We'll see. Both teams would have known that it was coming back sooner rather than later anyway. It's the last 20 seconds of the respawn, so as long as they're keeping track of the time, they would have known it's going down. But now it's going to be going down very quickly. As Blow Your Brain with that Desolator, even without the TA in the pit, they still have plenty of damage. Tron is going to TP back to base in order to refill up. They are going to jump in with J4. He's going to get multicasted, however, and he's going to lose his ultimate to start things off there. Instead, going to not focus him down. He's going to die in the backline, slowing everybody in the pit, but that's going to be about all that PR have to jump in here. They are going to lose the Aegis, the Way of the Weaver, and now the Cheese presumably going to wave the TA. PGG stunned up before he's able to get Fire Blast off, and BKB from Chacho is not going to save him as he's stuck inside the Sprout. Meld Strike from Templar Assassin going to secure his death. Now J4, he's going to die as well. Inside the Scar's Mage Mystic Flare, there's nowhere for him to run. And now Blow Your Brain searching for more, going to scooching, chasing down this poor Shadow Demon. And if he's forced to disrupt himself, he's dead. Let's see if he's going to be able to make it fast enough to the high ground. He had a Blink Dagger coming up for cooldown as well as a Ghost Scepter, so he would have survived either way. But still, it's a huge opening for Moscow 5, not having to deal with the Legion Commander or a Wraith King ultimate in the next 50 seconds or so, unless the Legion Commander buys back, which he may as well be forced into.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen. Those types of run and gun fights are exactly what Moscow 5 want. It's what you want whenever you have a Templar Assassin and Weaver, let alone both on the same team. So they take the run and gun fight, and now they're going to open up on Ditchy Ra. Still, the Raxes are going to go down as they don't really focus any attention on their heroes. Ditchy Ra is now getting sprouted up, can literally do nothing to help prevent the destruction of her Raxes as it all will drop. And now they're just going to rotate over towards the mid lane. Fortification is forced out, but with hearts on both the Weaver and Templar Assassin, they have no shortage of tanky heroes right now. Here comes Treasure Cat with a nice 3-man silence, but instantly has to leave. The tower's just going to drop, and Power Rangers, they're deciding not to buy back on their Legion. It's going to be punishing them. PG dropping pretty low to Ditchy Ra. Blow Your Brain as well, but he has a time lapse, so he'll get himself back into health. And Vigos just focusing the Raxes. Now with the cheese used, he's going to clean up the rest of his Raxes, probably give his life for it, and it will be even more damage going the way of Shotslow. But Moscow 5, they take 2 sets of Raxes. They don't lose that much. Templar Assassin going down is, of course, very bad, but she has a buyback, so even if Power Rangers want to crack back, they can't really do it very well. I expect buybacks for Moscow 5, and then Power Rangers should be forced to fall back.
Yeah, we are going to see the buyback coming up from the Templar Assassin, hoping to stop this push from Power Rangers, but they want to force things right now. As 2 lanes down, it's very stressful for Power Rangers. It's not a great opening, but maybe they found something. Ogre's down. It's a decent amount of damage lost by Moscow 5, but this is so risky. If they lose this fight, the game's all but over.
All right, so let's see if Power Rangers are actually going to jump in. They have Blink Daggers onto J4 as well as Shotshield. They're going to start off with slow sieging with Luna clones, and that's going to do quite a bit of damage to Blow Your Brain. In fact, it's going to do a lot of damage to Blow Your Brain, down to half HP, down to less than half, in fact. Fortification is forced. Where is this tree? Where's Nature's Prophet? He's still in the base, not split pushing the bottom lane as he doesn't have a TP scroll to get back for another 5 seconds. So he's going to just sit back and wait for now. Ditchy Ra is going to continuously throw glaives at the tower, and well, this actually might be a nice opportunity for Power Rangers. Jump right in. They're going to open up onto Vigos. Can they bring him down and get even more damage for the Legion Commander? It looks like the Legion Commander will win yet another duel, but it's going to be at the cost of his own life. Blow Your Brain now going to run rampant. Coil's going to land to Blow Your Brain. It is going to be time-lapsed out, but everyone else from Moscow 5, they're going to drop. Ogre Magi and Nature's Prophet both forced to buy back. Aegis now being popped by the Weaver. This is going to be mid-racks at the very least. Blow Your Brain might have to be bracing up another stun. He will be stunned up. J4 going to try to valiantly fight up against everyone. Ditchy Ra now with Mask of Madness is going to try to lifesteal back up to full, but the damage from just Tron is going to be enough to kill him off. Now the reincarnation from the Wraith King is going to be forced to blink out of there along with Soniko. Buyback from a whole slew of Power Rangers heroes. They take the melee Raxes. Range Raxes probably will follow suit soon enough. But they actually take a remarkable fight there. They force a whole bunch of buybacks from Moscow 5. They take melee Rax. And, well, they actually can potentially go for a little bit more, as Luna did with buyback. Legion Commander has travels. Yeah, they want more in this fight.
That was ridiculous. The first fight before, or I say first fight, before the Aegis dropped on the Weaver, the Luna was left completely unchecked. They did not focus her down, and she was just able to lifesteal so much with that Mask of Madness Daedalus on the Luna. You cannot leave that hero unchecked, and it was pretty ridiculous. With the buyback on the Luna, they want to go for more. Let's see if they're going to be able to replicate this. No buybacks going to be available, or at least significant ones on either side. Scarlet Mage is the only hero in the game with buyback. They'll lose the range barracks in mid at the very least, and now looking to tie up the rack score 2-2. The Templar Assassin down for 30 seconds. I don't think Moscow 5 can make a wholehearted defense, and now they're going to throw the press of the attack as well as Mask of Madness on Luna, hitting like a truck. Those glaives, they cannot walk into them. They're going to lose a clean set of racks. Nature's Prophet's doing his best to push out bottom, but it's not going to be enough, and it looks like PR potentially looking to put a ring on it. Let's see.
Well, that's 2 Raxes versus 2 Raxes. The 1 Rax off for either side is going to be on opposite lanes, so not really going to be a huge area of contention there. It's going to be whoever can split push better is generally going to take the edge in these types of circumstances. And when you're talking about split push, it doesn't really get much better than Nature's Prophet, although Power Rangers can just look to end the game right here. Ditchy on the high ground is going to start bouncing those glaives through. Ogre Magic going to get shredded, as will Blow Your Brain. He's just going to get annihilated with the glaives alone. That's going to be another kill for Soch, though. Instant buyback for the Weaver. Ditchy Rod now getting sprouted out, and he's going to get hit with the full-on Mystic Flare. No BKB. He's going to go down. He does not have a buyback. Crucial mistake from Power Rangers. You have to protect that Luna. So Nico, off to the side, is going to find himself a little bit more time with the self-disruption, but he will go down in the end almost for sure, unless he just cleanly teleports out, and he will do so. They lose the tier 3 tower, but they lose the Luna, and now Power Rangers, they're in a lot of trouble. Can they defend the upcoming push from Moscow 5 without their highest damage hero? That's a big question, and I don't know if the answer is yes.
Especially not with the Ethereal Blade on the Skywrath Mage. No, everybody spent their buyback with the exception of the Wraith King and the Shadow Demon. So maybe if Power Rangers are able to utilize those buybacks effectively, it could happen. I don't know. This is just such a close game right now. It's standing on the razor's edge. If Moscow 5 lose their Weaver and their Templar Assassin looking for this push, it could be all over. But Chatchelo is going to be found out by the Weaver. They don't have any lockdown on Force Staff forward. They're not going to get Fire Blast before the PKB comes out. They pop the Lincolns with the Halberd and then go for the Wraith Fire Blast. But Blow Your Brain actually doesn't care. Looks like Moscow 5 want to go for the Jugular. They're focusing down the tier 4s. Those tier 4 towers are going to fall like flies. With the Desolator on the Weaver, it looks like they're not long for this world, and Power Rangers need to try to do something. They're pinging out Blow Your Brain, but what are they going to be able to do about this bug? The T4 towers are going to fall. They're going to be able to get the Hex off on the Blow Your Brain, and now they're looking for the duel. They're going to find the duel. Weaver's down and down for good, but they also lose their puck at the sideline. Chatchelo is being focused. Tabasco is going to die. J4 now being focused. J4 is going to fall, and now they get the multicast off onto the Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon buys back. The Wraith King is going to respawn, but now he's going to be melted down, looking for the kill on Tron. Tron is going to die, as the second life coming out from J4 is going to be enough in order to do that, but now multicasted down by PGG. Vegas is just going to focus down the tier 4. Is looking for a melt strike onto J4. He is going to be invised up. He is Halberd. He can't get any right clicks, but it's not going to matter as J4 is brought down by the Arcane Bolts. Now the tier 4 towers are going to be glyphed. 15 seconds till they have a Luna. They might have just lost this game here as Vegas is looking to seal the deal. They're going to focus down all the tier 4s as they stun up Vegas, and now the Luna is about to respawn. Vegas, he's going to be critted down by the Wraith King, and now he's going to be forced to have to wait. The Urn's not going to be enough to heal him, and that's going to be a death on the Templar Assassin with nothing else. PGG being focused down by Siniko as well as J4. PGG's going to fall, and that's about to be a 5-man wipe as PGG's barely escaping. Probably going to take down the Urn charge. Buyback on the Skywrath Mage, the only one that has it available on the Dire side. Has this game completely turned on its head? Luna's inside the enemy base.
Oh my god, they actually did it. Power Rangers defended the Wraith King, coming back with 3 lives, now has reincarnation yet again. Ditchy Ra is going to finish off the rest of the Raxes. I can't believe they did it. That was Shadow Poison was the real MVP there. Shadow Demon got so many stacks off of that Templar Assassin and then chunked her down in an instant. So there's no heart shenanigans there, no evasion really doing work for the Templar Assassin. It was so much burst magical damage from Siniko, and now Ditchy Ra is right on top of the tier 4s. King R, the last hero alive for Moscow 5, and I don't believe it. Power Rangers, they are going to, and why are you doing this, Moscow 5? Just unpause the game. This game is over. GG. Oh my god.
An amazing ending. What did you say? Oh my goodness, the Templar Assassin, she was demolished. I believe that was like 5 stacks of the Shadow Poison and a crit from the Wraith King, and that was 70% of her health down the drain. What a crazy last fight. It's going to seal out the series. Crazy. My goodness. Power Rangers are going to win the series 2-1, but man, it was a close and exciting one. We're here at HeflaTV. If you like the casting, you can follow us on Twitter and Facebook at HeflaTV, as well as the VODs will be uploaded to youtube.com/HeflaMoke momentarily after this series, probably an hour or so before they're actually up and running. As far as the casters, I'm GrandisV, and I've been joined by Mike Loris. You can find us on Twitter and on Twitch at GrandisV and Mike Loris, respectively. Any last words as far as this game is concerned?
Oh man, I have no idea. Power Rangers are going to move on to round 3. They're going to be facing either Denial or My Insanity. That game has yet to be played. This channel is going to have another game coming up in about an hour 20. It's going to be Root Gaming versus Isurus from Join Dota League. So we'll probably turn off the stream, although we might not. I don't know. Either way, thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the games because I know that we certainly did.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. Thanks for watching, and stick around for some music and ads. That's a great way to support us if you are watching, and, well, thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you soon on HeflaTV, maybe for some future Yard Red, maybe for some Join Dota later on in the evening.